Yeah.
Okay, so good evening everyone. So today we have Ahmad with us. So he's like technical director in Omnia and he's Sitecore MVP as well. So he will present on shifting traditional interest to personalize employee digital workspace by using Sitecore. So now Ahmad, you
All
can
right.
start presenting. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending this session today. I know it's a weekend and everyone is rushing to enjoy it. But yeah, let's have this beautiful session. And thanks to the organizer for the Sitecore user group in Jaipur, right? And I would like to thank them all for making this happen and pushing everyone in the community to contribute more by organizing these sessions. And they bring all the attendees here to this session and managing it, where we can contribute and share and learn from each other, right? Within this platform. And thank you all. So basically, today my topic is about shifting traditional intranet to personalized employee digital workplace using Sitecore, right? So during the last 7 years in Dubai, we've been working on a lot of intranet project. And it is like a kind of weird, right? Because it's not popular like to use Sitecore for intranet, but so far like we have completed around like 5 or 6 solid projects where on each project serve around like 60,000 employee, 50,000 employee. Some of the project also got awarded the best personalized experience award from Sitecore. And this intranet project, they are for enterprise companies, banks, big groups in oil industry, government, and different enterprise client. So basically, today in this session, I'm gonna brief you guys about what is the traditional intranet and how we can transform traditional intranet to a digital workplace, right? And why we call it these days a digital workplace, right? Using Sitecore, using the capabilities of Sitecore and what Sitecore provides us as a platform, and how we can utilize all of these powerful capabilities in making a digital workplace for the employees, right? Okay, so slides are stuck. Yeah. So basically, a quick bio about myself. My name is Ahmed Harb. I'm technical director in Omnia. I have 15 years of experience as a developer, as a team lead, as a solution architect, and now I'm taking the role since 5 years as a technical director, and I'm managing around like 60, 70 developers in my organization, which is Omnia, right? Also, I am Sitecore MVP in 2017, but I hope like this year I start back to the contributing and hopefully like will apply to it again. I have 10 plus years of experience in Sitecore, right, as a total, and I have computer science and I have a degree, master degree in information security. All right, so the agenda for today, the first one is I will give you like a quick introduction about what is the modern digital workplace. I think it's a new topic and it come to the market and to the industry after the pandemic. Then we're gonna give you like what is the traditional intranet and an overview about it. And then we're gonna speak about what is the modern digital place as a feature, right? And then we're gonna break down the traditional intranet and what's make the traditional intranet a modern digital workplace. And then I will show you like just the screens that we have implemented for one of our clients, and then we're gonna talk more technical knowledge about the challenges that our Sitecore team faced and how we solved it. One of the challenges is the SSO, the single sign-on, and the employee's identity. The second challenge is the analytics and enable the tracking and how we scale it and how we make Sitecore like fully scalable to handle this big traffic, because intranet project will get more hits than the website. Usually when we build intranet for 70 or 80,000 employees, we get like at least 10 or 20 requests from the employees every day from single employees, right? So there is a certain scalability tactics we implemented, and I'm gonna share it with you guys. And also within our intranets, usually we utilize Sitecore EXM, and these days we went to the composable where we start using Sitecore Send. But for the people like who wanna stay with EXM, I'm gonna talk about it and how we scale it up to deliver a personalized email and messages. And the last one, like, which is like building the collaboration into the digital workplace using Office 365. And the last, I will show you like a sample architecture of one of the intranets I implemented. Basically, the introduction to the digital workplace. The pandemic forced the businesses to invest in technologies that helps employees to continue doing their work from home. So how the digital workplace come to the market and how we start building it. As we know, like we used to work from our offices, everyone was collaborating with other people like offline. If you want to take a leave, sometimes you write a paper and you sign it by your direct manager. And some companies like they have different application and services to do that, right? And out of nowhere, the pandemic, COVID-19 happened and it forced us to to go back and work from home, right? And here like businesses were struggling, how we can enable employees to collaborate together, to do their services together, to do their work together from home, from their mobile devices, from Starbucks, from the coffee shops, from everywhere, right? And from that point of time, enterprise companies, they start saying, okay, our intranet does not work. We need a digital workplace, right? Where employees can continue doing their work, right? They continue doing their task. They continue collaborating with each other through a one platform. And this is what call it the digital workplace. So the digital workplace, in short, it's a tool provide personalized application services and collaboration tool required for any employee to work from anywhere, anytime, at any device, right? As example, this is what happened to pandemic. We all shifted our work to home, and now we need to collaborate and we need to work better in different ways. And this is what exists, make this tool, the digital workplace, exist in the market. As a result of the pandemic, many companies have turned their intranets to a modern digital workplace solution to keep the wheel of business turning, right? As example, this definition was taken from Microsoft. The digital workplace includes all the technologies people use to get work done in today's workplace, whatever it is, if it's home or if it's office. It ranges from your HR applications to your core business application to your email, instance messaging. So it's a platform. It provides you all the access to all of these tools. You can apply for a leave from a digital workplace. You can read the content from the digital workplace. You can get your task done. You can communicate with your employees through this digital workplace, right? So let's go back in history and talk about what's the intranet and why intranet was insufficient for the requirements that happened through the pandemic. So traditional intranet, usually they are a private intranets application. They are run on the organization network to serve employees with information. The purpose of intranet, usually just one way, just serving employee with the news, with events, with document and policies. There is no two-way communication or collaborations. The second thing is many of the traditional intranet, and this is my personal idea, I found like most of the intranets that we revamped, they are built on SharePoint, right? And using a lot of out-of-the-box modules in SharePoint. Also, something after we start delivering intranet on Sitecore, we phased out like the feedback of this intranet, like, oh, we like now the publishing experience, because the publishing experience with SharePoint is not that great. Also, they lack a personalization experience. Most of the intranets like I worked on personally, like they did not have any personalization, right? And they suffer from outdated layout. I'm still sometimes doing SharePoint projects and doing, let's say, like a seamless UI or UX in SharePoint is something very difficult. While in Sitecore, you can do headless, you can do MVC where you control all the rendering, so it is much easier. Also, they lack of employees' engagement. The traditional intranet, they don't have the engagement factor, right? Where the workplace, digital workplace, it's focused on the engagement. One more thing here I notice as well, by the experience, SharePoint intranet consume a huge computing powers comparing to Sitecore, right? If I have, let's say, 1 million visit and I need to serve them through Sitecore, it will take maybe 25% of the computing power that I need to run it on SharePoint. So this is a quick overview on the traditional intranet. If we go after the pandemic and we think about what is the modern digital workplace, the modern digital workplace is the future state of the traditional intranet applications, right? It's just a future state of any traditional intranet. As example, if you guys know any companies like who has traditional intranet, right? You need to talk to them, tell them like why we don't upgrade our intranet to modern digital workplace where we have collaborations, where we have a lot of advantages and we can work better together. So the digital workspaces, they are paying attention to increasing productivities. People are more productive and more efficient using the digital workspaces because all the services, they can do it from digital workspaces. All the teams, all the communication between the teams, they can do it through digital workspace. The second thing is employees' preferences. As example, every employee will have like a certain dashboard. It's customized based on your preferences. Also, of course, we have the personalized experience. We have a personalized experience based on the content that I'm interested in. And we have also the engagement experience where we can collaborate together and employees can communicate. They can participate in communities, as example, gym communities or like trip communities or any type of community, or like as example, SOGUI or SOG Jaipur, right? So we can create these communities into the digital workplaces, while it's the traditional intranet, it does not exist. All right, so let's break down the features of the two platforms, traditional intranet and the digital workplace. So we start talking more technical. The first thing, the purpose of the traditional intranet is provide information to employees. It's one-way communication from the management or the content author or marketing department to the employees. Where digital workplaces, you get work done, you get assigned on your task from one platform, you build relationships with your colleagues, you improve the knowledge sharing, you start sharing article, contributing, and it's provide a personalized experience where you can spend like hours on this platform and you don't feel bored. The communications with the intranet, it's only one-way communication. With the digital workplace, it enables employee-to-employee communication. Like as example, if we have a front-end team, all of them, they can communicate together through the platform without switching between teams, switching back. So this is something very important. And also there is a factor of user-generated content, like people can publish more into the digital workplaces. Collaborations with the old intranet, the collaboration was happening through switching between different apps. But with the digital workplace, all the collaboration happening fully integrated experience with seamless integration with Microsoft 365, Yammer, Stream, Viva, all the great tools that we are using right now. Yeah. So this is one of the factors like implemented into the digital workplace. And personalization, of course, not supported. And in the digital workplace, it's fully supported. Analytics and the tracking, right? The traditional intranet, they used to run like SharePoint on-prem, and SharePoint on-prem, they don't have any analytics engine, right? And usually these applications are private. So it's so challenging like to have analytics engine running on your on-prem environment. While with the digital workplace, you should enable your content authors and marketing team to track and test and analyze users' preferences and behaviors. So you can enhance the content and the experience for the employees. Services with the traditional intranet, as example, with traditional intranet, if I'm applying for leave, I need to jump into an external application to apply. While into the digital workplace, I can do all of that from the digital workplace. And this is as example, some of the integration like we built here, like we built integrations with SAP, HRMS, ERP, attendance system, timesheets, document management system. We built integrations with policies, software, with communities, with Asana, with Jira, and many more. All of that we build it through the digital workplace. The marketing capabilities, though there is no marketing capabilities, while in the digital workplace, we can support A/B testing, goals, and events, and we can run our marketing automations tools. Personalized email is not supported within traditional intranet, while in digital workplace it's fully supported. So employees can get personalized email to them. So I just added like some features we built through the last 7 years. And as example, we integrated with Microsoft Delve, with OneDrive, with Microsoft Task, with Microsoft Notes. We integrated with multiple software for organization charts. We integrated with AI engine to bring the trending in the companies. We built wikis, surveys, microsites. We built weather widgets, chats, integrations. We built also communities, and communities is a huge module where anyone can create a new community and ask people to join it, and they start publishing content together and organizing news and events and different type of content, or they can just write a blog post within these communities. So there is a lot of engaging features that enrich the modern digital workplace. So the question now, what is the right platform for building a personalized workplace? For us, like, we took the decision that Sitecore is the best platform. Why? We have analytics, we have personalizations. Sitecore is fast. We have freedom in the UI. Some of the intranets now we are building headless. Some of them we are building it using MVC Helix pattern. So we have the freedom like to build our own HTML, our own dashboards, and we have the flexibility to integrate with everything. So for us, like, the answer was Sitecore wins, and we took the decision to start building these intranets on Sitecore, and till the moment, like, we're still doing a lot of intranets on Sitecore. So let me just give you like small screens for one of the intranets that we delivered. So as example, this is the intranet, one of the screens. Like, here's a user just land on this intranet and they can get news, they can get the people who works with, they can get birthdays, documents, meetings, notes, galleries, prayer time, and here they can find all the people in his team that they need to communicate with. They can find some events, documents, a lot of things. So this is just like a small intranet. It's not the hugest, but this is for a mid-sized company intranet we done, and you can apply for your leaves, for your salary reviews, services, for any company services, right? Through the intranet, yeah? You can check your leave balance, you can do many things from here, right? And you can do your appraisers. There is a lot of services that are provided here through the intranet. This is how it looks like. And also here you have all the tools. A lot of them are integrated seamlessly within the platform. And some of them, like, it give you like a quick insight. When you land in, you can see what's happening in Yammer, what task you are assigned on, what documents that was shared with you today, what people like you communicate with the most, what notes that you have in your PC. So it's just one platform, and it will help you like to work better, faster, and that's it. And this is just a quick one. Here we have as example podcast. Then we have like a media channel. This is integrated like with Microsoft Viva, with Microsoft Stream. And here's like for the UE culture, here we have the prayer timing as example. So it reminds people like to go and do the prayer. So basically these are the intranets that we built and we shifted from traditional to a digital workplace. Does anyone have a question here, guys? All is good? All right, perfect. So now let's speak about the challenges and the recommended practices that we faced, right, to build this intranet. The first one is the SSO and the employee's identity. The first thing with intranet or digital workplace is when you open the digital workplace, you should have a single sign-on module, right? You just need to enter your username and password, your company email and your password email, right, for the company provided to you, and you should get a seamless login, right? So a single sign-on is a must, especially like when you are into the intranet, all the services should be authenticated to you, right? All right, so the employee's identity. The shared workplace should allow employees to enter the application with their own existing identity using single sign-on. This is the first feature that we need to think how we're going to implement it, right? Each organization, this is the challenge here, each organization have their own login mechanism. We have managed to integrate Sitecore with multiple identity providers, right? Some of the companies, their identity provider is Active Directory. They have just a single Active Directory, and this is the easiest one. Some of them, they have Active Directory nodes. As example, we built Intranet for a company. It's a group company, and they have multiple offices and multiple sub-companies, and each one have their own Active Directory, and there is no trust between them. So our job was to find for them a solution, how we can implement the SSO, right, for them. Some of them, they are more like better and organized, and they are on top of technologies, and they have Active Directory Federation services. So they provide you the SSO for the multiple Active Directories. And some of them now, after the pandemic, most of them start moving to Azure Active Directory. So this is the first challenge, and I'm gonna just explain to you the workflow, how we fixed this challenge for the 4 types of identity providers. So for the single sign-on with the Active Directory, it was the easiest. Imagine you have a company and we are implementing a workspace for them, and they have a single Active Directory, right? Then what we need to do is just to enable Windows authentication on Sitecore content delivery, right? And configure the session provider in the web config as example, right? And then install the LDAP connector, right? That comes with Sitecore to connect, to enable the content author to log into Sitecore, right? And then we start mapping Active Directory groups to Sitecore roles, right? I think we got a question. Our company have development license and as a Sitecore partner, so can we use the same for our intranet, or do we need a separate license? Okay, I got the question. If you are a Sitecore partner, right, you can, Sitecore provide you a free license where you can do your own development and you can do your website or your intranet only for your company, right? This is fine, but however, my recommendation before you take the decision to build intranet for your own company, just reach out to your sales manager or your partner manager and take the approval from them. And this is what we done internally in Omnia. All right. So then we configure the mapping between the Sitecore domains and Sitecore roles and AD groups, right? It was the easiest. In short, we just enable Windows authentication on IIS, on content delivery nodes, and on Sitecore CM, the content management. We just install LDAP connector, and we map the groups and roles between Active Directory, and then we go to the Active Directory setting and we start managing the user access to the environment through the Active Directory. We don't manage it through Sitecore, right? This is the easiest one. This is the most difficult one. If you have multiple Active Directory nodes with no trust, and you need to build for them this single sign-on feature into the digital workspace. So how we done it? What we done is we deployed a single server on each Active Directory. Let's say we have 10 Active Directory nodes. We had to install and deploy a single server on each node, right? And then the next step, we enable Windows authentication on each node. As example, we have 10 Active Directory nodes. We enable 10 times Windows authentication on all of the nodes. And then once the user visit our digital workplace, we get his company ID. And based on his company ID, we redirect his request to the server we deployed in his Active Directory, and based on the response from that server, we give him an access or not. It's like a simple single sign-on solution. We done it through Sitecore, right? And it worked with us, but however, it's very difficult to manage this solution, and that's why we always recommend our partners or companies that we are working with or our clients to go with Azure AD or to utilize ADFS. And then we authenticate the request and we send the response back to Sitecore CDs, and Sitecore CDs will check the response. If the user is authenticated, it will pass the user to the intranet. If not, we'll give him access denied. And that's it. This is for the multiple Active Directory with no trust. Then we have the single sign-on with Active Directory Federation Services, which is ADFS. So basically, ADFS is a single sign-on service, comes out of the box with Microsoft. So if you have multiple Active Directories and there is a trust between them, you can utilize this feature, right? And how we need to connect it with Sitecore is very simple. We go to the IT team and we ask them to configure a relying party for us, right? For our applications. Then they will take the URL and they will create a new ID for us on ADFS, and they give us a certificate and that we need to install in our servers. Then we ask them to configure WS Federation or SAML, right? Based on our implementation. Some people like to support WS Federation, some people like to support SAML protocols. So we need to tell them, to define to them what protocol that we are going to use here. And then also we need to tell them what claims that we need from users. As example, if email and first name and last name is enough for you, we need to tell them that so they can give us an access to these claims so we can configure them. And then what we need to do is we need to enable the Federation Authentication within Sitecore Content Delivery by enabling OWN Authenticator Enabler config. And then we install and configure the Sitecore Federation module, and we configure our identity provider based on the protocol that we used on the relying party, if it's WS Federation or SAML. And of course, this is also required to do mapping between the claims that I mentioned within Sitecore config. And here you have enabled the single sign-on with ADFS. The third one is SSO with Azure Active Directory. This is very important. I'm sure you guys experience with this topic here. Basically, all what we need is to create a new app in their Azure Active Directory and configure the scope and the claims for this app. And then we need to enable OpenID or OAuth 2.0. Usually we go with OpenID because it's easier to deal with, especially with Sitecore. And then we enable the OWN layer in Sitecore, and we configure the Federation Authentication into Sitecore content delivery nodes, and we map the claims. All right, the second challenge, it's the analytics and tracking, right? One of the intranets or the digital workplaces that we built and shifted, right? We have around 70,000 employees, right? Every morning at 8 a.m., 9 a.m., we get around 60,000 or 30,000 concurrent user just log in within 1 hour, all of them at the same time, right? So for us, scalability was very important. And I will tell you guys why based on the data I have here. For as example, for this intranet, we have every year around 30 million visits per year. We have 130 million page views per year. We have 1.7 billion interaction per year in MongoDB, and we have around 15 million emails sent per year. This is the statistics of one of the current digital workplaces that we have right now, right? And to be frank with you guys, we learned a lot how to maintain these data and how to keep Sitecore fast, running fine, and satisfy our business users with all the analytics reports that they need and extract from Sitecore. So What are the best practices, right? I know there is a lot, right? But for me, like, these are the most important one. First one is deploying XDB processing as standalone, separated as a separate role. The second one is deploy multiple XDB processing instances and put them behind the load balancer so they can process task in parallel from the processing pool and the processing task database. Since we have processing task database, all of these nodes can take task and pick it up and processing at the same time. As I said, load balancing is required for these nodes. Also, one of the tricks that we done it from the start of the project. We start with a replica set with solid servers on the MongoDB, right? And we had like one primary node and two secondaries as replica set. But if you are on SQL, you need to use shards for sure. And some projects, we have a huge number of data and we use 16 shards. I think Sitecore comes with less shards. So you need, before you install it, once you install Sitecore, you need to increase the number of shards. Also, if you are on using MS SQL as the collection database, analytics database, you need to use a cluster for sure with multiple nodes, and between them you need to do always on all the time, right? This is something we use. And the last trick, this is what I do. I always increase the session timeout. So the number of the sessions that we are getting, they are less flushed into our database. So we got a question here. Will it impact performance if we have more than 0.5 million users? Can you, Shiraj, explain your question again?
Like you are saying that we need load balancing, right? We can use multiple balancers, but like if we have users more than 0.5 million, so in that case it will not impact the performance on servers.
You mean if we have
minor effect on performance?
Yeah, you mean like you have 500,000 users, right?
Yeah, right.
And will it impact? Of course, like you need to plan for the 500,000 user and you need like to scale for them. But you're saying about like concurrent users, or you're talking about number of visited user per year?
At the same time, like if 9 a.m. 0.5 million users are login.
Yeah,
At the same time that I'm talking about.
Yeah, of course. You need like to plan for your environment very well, and for the 0.5 million concurrent user, they are logging it at the same time. First of all, you need to have Redis and you need to have Redis cluster, right? To maintain the sessions database for them. This is the first thing, right? And the second thing, at least you need like 4 or 5 or 6 content delivery nodes to handle this traffic. Okay. Because 0.5 million users to be logged in as a concurrent at the same time require a lot of performance from Sitecore and requires a lot of load on the CPUs and in the RAM. And from your end, like what you can do, you need to have multiple CDs node. And if you are on, as example, I will ask you a question. Are you on Microsoft Azure or you are on-prem?
Microsoft Azure.
Okay, with Microsoft Azure, I think you have Redis on a place. You can scale it up, right? Also, scaling the shards for MS SQL on Microsoft Azure can be done on the fly, as example. But if you have on-premise MS SQL, you can do it on the fly, right? You can scale it up on Microsoft Azure. You can increase the shards, but on-prem you can do that, right? And your content delivery, which is the app services that you have. Let's say you have S3, you can increase the instances based on the traffic, and you can set a certain matrix, right, on your CPU with auto scaling. If I reach like 60 or 80% CPU on the app services, I need to scale from 3 to 4. If I reach from, let's say, 60 on 4, I need to increase more. And this is the thing, like how you can handle 0.5 million user on app services. But if it's on-prem environment, scaling will take time, right? Because you need to prepare servers, you need to configure them. So you need to plan before you start handling. But on Microsoft Azure, this is something easy.
Yeah, I think in that case, on-prem it will be difficult, or it should be planned for everything.
Yeah, so basically, even on-prem, what we do is we do load testing, right? Before we put our environment to production, especially like for the intranet, for the digital workplaces where we have a concurrent user. So we have like multiple nodes, we give them to the QA team, and they start doing a stress load and opening multiple sessions, and we get a point where our servers are failing, right? With how many users our servers are not capable to handle. And we scale based on that. And we prepare our environment based on that. And one more thing here for the digital workplaces, we usually like launch them as a beta, right? We don't shift directly. We turn off the old intranet and we make it up with the new one. No, we keep the old intranet and we turn it on as beta. Then we start enabling the intranet for more and more users, right? Till we find an idea how much server we need and how much traffic should we handle, especially like this environment we are talking about, they are on-prem environments. I think we got another question. Can XDB set up on different server? And then how to merge its data? And will each server have... Can you please expand your question? Rinku?
Yeah, hi. So here the question is like here we are talking about load balancing on XDB. So that means XDB can be set up on multiple servers, right? Now, if we are supporting that, so in that case, how we are going to have one center place to have the data, and at one particular point of time, if we are hitting any report or something like that, so how we can make sure that the data is up to date for that?
Yeah. I get this question. So how to make is, I would say not to make the data up to date. When our intranet, like, or our digital workplace, they are not scaled enough, usually like XDB processing takes long time to see the analytics data in Sitecore database, right? With this a huge load, sometimes it used to take like 1 or 2 or 3 days, right? To take how many page views we have in this news, right? This is a question we got from the business user. We need the data right now. So what we done it is we decrease this, we deployed multiple processing roles, right? So Sitecore XDB can process more faster from the processing task pool. If you read here, like the first thing is we configured multiple XDB processing instances. We put them behind the load balancer, so Sitecore can process data more faster and generate this report. Because the point is of processing is to read data from, let's say, MongoDB or analytics database and transfer them to a report where the users can read this report, right? So the first thing is we need to scale up the processing engine, the first thing. And also within Sitecore XDB, there are many roles, right? There's XConnect has to be scaled, right? There is a lot of things has to be scaled with it. But in order to get data so fast, you need to deploy multiple XDB processing roles. Does this answer your question?
Yeah, a bit.
All right.
Yeah, I have one more question. Sorry to interrupt you.
Thank you.
So, like,
Yeah.
I just asked in my previous question, like 0.5 million users are daily logging at that time. So it is that data is going to our analytics DB, right? So like after 30 days or after 60 days, our database size will be got increased, right? And if we are not on on-prem environment, so it will impact the cost to the client because we are taking a database size increasing. So how we can get rid of, like, either we can just erase the data or we can just take the data of last 7 days. Is there any approach for that?
Yeah, so sometimes so basically we don't erase the data at all, right? Because this is our record, this is our analytics report, and sometimes we need to come to the dashboard and say, in 2019, how many visits we had? In 2022, how many visits we have, right? We don't erase data. But what I'm saying, what we usually do, to be frank with you, sometimes we get corrupted data in MongoDB and SQL, and how to fix it, we run rebuilding databases. We rebuild the analytics database, and we perform this like every 6 months or 7 months. But other than that, we don't do anything. We keep the data and we maintain it.
Okay.
All right, perfect. Okay, guys, I like this. It's more collaborative session now. It's good. The second one, scaling EXM. I mentioned like we used to deliver around 40 million email per year, which is not a lot, by the way. But with EXM was a lot, right? With Sitecore EXM. So, and this is the thing that we learned from it. Actually, 15 email per year. This is our record we sent through EXM, and these emails are personalized based on the employees and their profile. Yeah. So how we scaled EXM? I remember when we installed EXM and we run our first email batch, it takes us like 3-4 days to send around 100 email. Then we said, what? This is so much. 3 days for sending 100,000 email. This is not acceptable, right? And we looked through Sitecore. We talked to the support and we consulted with Sitecore and they helped us as well, right? And these are the things that we done where we ended up by sending like 70,000 email in 5 minutes or 3 minutes, okay? The first thing is what we done is we deployed multiple EXM dispatch role. So within EXM, you can configure EXM as dispatch only, not as a UI and sending emails, right? Just this dispatching your emails. Okay, so we deployed multiple one, and I think we deployed 3 dispatch EXM roles where we reached to a point by sending like 70 or 80,000 email in 1 minute or less than that. The second thing is the EXM dispatch role should be dedicated to only dispatching email, right? You should not run the UI on it or the CMS on it. However, it must be combined with the content management role. So what you do is you install the content management, you install on it EXM, and there is a configuration where you can tell EXM, this is only for dispatching. We are not expose it as a content management role, right? So the focus for this role is just sending emails. And then since we're gonna have multiple dispatch roles and we have also the CM is enabled, we need to set one primary CM role and configure the rest as dispatch. This is just configurations on every CM role that has EXM dispatch on it. This is the primary and the rest just dispatching roles, right? And one of the hints, like how we measured like sending emails, also we have with Sitecore EXM a performance measurement tool that it will give you like a brief how long Sitecore took to generate the message and how long Sitecore took to communicate with the Exchange server and how long Sitecore took time to do the whole process. And this tool helped us a lot to optimize and make the EXM scalable and run fast enough. And of course, one of the things we done is on each EXM dispatch, we increase the number of thread workers. I think by default it comes with 2. We set it to 8 or 16, and where EXM was so fast to do it. This is, I'm just giving you a case. However, if the client, we recommend now clients to go with, for sure, Sitecore Send because they handle everything for you. You don't need to follow the same path we followed. But if your client insists to stay on EXM, you guys need to apply these advices here and best practices. The next one, I think. All right, the challenge 3, right? When I showed you guys the Teams, we have integration with Teams, with Notes, with OneDrive. We integrated with Microsoft Delve, with the Stream. All of it seamless. We integrated with Microsoft planners, with everything. Everything was easy, right? So basically how we built all of that, Microsoft provides something called Microsoft Graph, right? It's a SDK and API. It runs on any client. They have Office 365, and from there you have an access to all the APIs, such as OneNote, Teams, and you integrate with it. First, you have Azure AD, you get a token from your Azure AD, then you pass this token to Microsoft Graph API, and there is a huge tools here for you on Microsoft Graph to get insights, get teams. You can allow your user to send messages through channel. And this is how you build the collaboration through the digital workplaces. Now, guys, what we are doing is we are moving our digital workplaces and adapting the composable DXP. So we start doing headless, and we start building as well, and dropping EXM, moving to Sitecore Send. We also do some of the intranet drop the analytics engine and all of these capabilities. So we start using Sitecore CDB. So these things makes our life so easier. And for anyone who want to build like a new, fresh digital workplace, consider to go with the composable DXP from the beginning, and don't go like to the old approach where you need to manage everything by yourself, because it's a lot of work. This is as example, just an architecture we have delivered, right? This is how we split our application. We have data layer, we have business layer, we have application layer, and we have the delivery layer. So the end solution, how it looks like as a context, we delivered a workplace that runs on mobile application and a website. It serves multiple companies. It's fully integrated with the collaboration of 365. It has social features where employees can like and collaborate with each other. It's fully integratable with Yammer, right? So you can create communities through Yammer, and all of this have seamless integration. You can run also email campaigns and personalized email campaign. You have a solid analytics engine that give you an idea for each employee, what pages has visited, what goals has triggered, what content he's interested in, so you can build this personalization. We integrated it also with a Coveo search engine as well, which was good for us. And we have a module called the microsites creator, which is enable the marketing team just to publish and create websites. And you have the experience profile where you have like a unified 360 view about your employees and what they are doing, what they like and what they dislike, right? And in the back of it, all of this powered by the content delivery of Sitecore and a social engine we built on .NET Core. We build it like as a custom build from scratch, and we use like as example sometimes SharePoint as CDN or different CDN providers to deliver the content. And as a business layer, we use the Sitecore content management, the Solar engine, we use the EXM, we use the processing a lot, we use the reporting a lot as well, and we use a backend job called Hangfire, so we can get all the employees information from the HR applications, from the recruitment applications, from the attendance. As example, if employee comes at what time, we get the data using Hangfire, and we integrated all of that with Sitecore. And this is the data layer explained to you here. All right, guys, thank you so much for attending the session today. You guys have any questions for me?
Sorry, I'm running out of the batteries for asking here my question. So with this modern workspace, looks like we got lots of challenges, but just want to know that what will be our approach if we going to upgrade this? For example, whatever version you are on Sitecore, if there'll be any challenges you will face, or did you think about doing the upgrade, you will face this kind of challenges?
Yeah, so basically currently we are running multiple projects, right? Some of them they are running on 8.2, some of them are running on 9, and some of them they are running on 10.1, and some of them now they are running on 10.2. And currently when we are building, we are upgrading our strategy. As I said, like if you are going to build a new digital workplace, go directly with composable, right? take CDB, take Sitecore Send.
Yeah.
Don't get stuck with the old things, right? It's much easier on us, and it will be easier on you. These are the approaches.
Sorry to interrupt. That means if we are on an older version of Sitecore with this digital workspace, it is better to move with new development on composable DXP rather than upgrading to the Sitecore.
Yes, it's better to go with the composable DXP. It's much recommended.
Okay.
However, if your client tell you like, no, we have a license for 10.2 on-prem and we don't want to go, then you need to follow the challenges that we done here. Yeah.
All right. Second question is regarding to the solar servers. So since it's going to be a big challenge, as Rishi mentioned, there could be a option that there'll be millions of users for an internet website. You have a big organization using a digital workspace for them, and at a time of logging, there could be 500,000 users at a time. The question here is that how we all, what are the challenges we'll face during that kind of search engine implementation? For example, taking an example of solar, what type of structure do you think it's again going to be a going to be a organization by organization, or what are the challenges you face in your implementation?
Yeah, basically, there was some challenges with solar. It's very good question from you, right? So basically, maybe I did not mention in the slides, but first when we launched our intranet or our digital workplaces, we use like single instance of solar, right? And we faced a lot of issues, right? And what we done is just we install solar instance and we configure it with NSSM. So we make sure like the process keep running. However, like sometimes we face some issues that solar was dropping. So what we done is directly we install solar cloud on 3 or 4 instances. And we put 1 master and 4 slaves, and each content delivery communicate with a separate slave. This is how we fix it. However, now when I recommend the client not to go with also solar cloud. There is, I forgot the name of it. There is an online platform. It will give you like a data center, as example, in UE, they support a data center in UE. They give you like a solar instance. It's already configured with solar cloud. I forgot the company name, to be frank with you, but also Sitecore is using it currently. Search Stacks, yes. Search Stack, also even Sitecore, they use it. So now on my recommendations for any new client, I always recommend them to go with Search Stack. If they say no, I go to them and we install Solar Cloud from the beginning for any project. Yeah.
Right, that's it from myself. Thank you.
Guys, any other question? All's good? All right, guys. So thank you so much for organizing the session and give me the chance to speak to all of you, right? It was a very nice session and I like the questions. And thank you all and have a good weekend.
Same to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Same to you.
Thanks, guys. Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.